Hi guys, welcome to another Divi theme video. This is Jamie from System 22 and webdesignandtechtips.com. Well, as you can see, we've got a little animated banner up there today. Really easy to do, really attention-grabbing little thing to have on your site. Of course, once you've got one up there, you can put it anywhere on your site, make it bigger or smaller. I've got another one down here. You can add a link to take them to your sale or announcement or whatever it is you want to do. Really easy to do, great way of getting people to go somewhere that you want to take them. So let's get started. I'm going to enable the Visual Builder. Let's go down and we'll get rid of this module. Okay, I'm going to start from scratch. A little dark button to add a new module. For this today, I used a heading module. And these are all the built-in modules that come as standard with the Divi theme. No extra plugins used today at all. And I think I said, huge, sail on now, or whatever it is you want to say. I'm going to hit the little pink brush associated with this. It'll take us straight to the design tab for that particular text. It's an H1. I'm going to turn it into perhaps an H3. I don't want it as my main title for the page, which should be reserved for the H1s there. I'm going to use a block font called Anton for mine. To change font, just left click where it says default there. If you want to roll over one of these, it'll give you an example of it. I've got my Anton up here with my previously used, so I'm just going to click on it. Great. I'm going to leave it left aligned. I'm going to make my red in color. And I want it to fill most of our column here. So I think I'll perhaps use 72 for this particular version of it. It's a little bit too big. 75 I put in there. Let's put in 70. That's going to work. But I do want to capitalize this. That's fine. So 70 seems to work absolutely fine. Now what I'm going to do is, because we're going to be shrinking this down, I want to make sure it stays the same size and doesn't push our content lower. Because if we shrink this down, the words will, that sentence will break and the words will stack, which will push down the bottom content there. In fact, I'll show you, if we create animation first, you'll see what's going to happen. I'll show you how to fix it. So to create animation, let's go over to our advanced custom CSS down here. We're going to use the freeform CSS tab here. Now to select our heading module here, we need to write selector. And open and close some curly brackets. And we can target it with CSS there. Well, what I want it to do is animate, like you saw earlier. I want it to shrink down to nothing and then sort of spread out so that people can see the notification. So we're going to use an animation to do that today. We need to give it a name. I'm going to call it SLSALE for slide sale. That's my shorthand. Call yours what you want, but it wants to be unique. I'm going to have mine running for 10 seconds. And I want it to keep going and going and going. So I'm going to say infinite. Great. Now we've created this, we need to do the animation for it. We're going to use keyframes to build this, as we did with our last couple of videos. So it's at keyframes, KEYFRAMES. Then the name that we gave it, which is SLSALE, sliding sale. Then we can open and close some more curly brackets and decide what we want to do with our 10 seconds that we've got up there. Well, at 0% when the page loads, so I'm going to put 0%, open, close some more curly brackets here. Basically, the start of second one of our 10 seconds up there. I want it to be invisible. So I'm going to say width 0, which will shrink it down to 0. Width, colon, 0. As you can see, that stacked it up, and that's exactly what we didn't want there. So to prevent it pushing that content down like it's doing there, let's put a little semicolon at the end of there. I'm actually going to go back to my design tab. I'm going to give it the fixed height of the same height as our font, which was 70 pixels. So in design, I'm going to go down to sizing and height. I'm going to make that 70 pixels in height. Now you can see the content below is no longer moving because this isn't allowed to expand. Those words are breaking and overflowing into it And we can hide that very easily by going to our advanced visibility. Here we've got horizontal and vertical overflow. If I put both of them to hidden, it's going to hide anything that's deeper than 70 pixels there. Now you may see it overspilling on the front end still, but when we get to the other end, it'll be fine. That seems to be okay now. But I want it to actually feed in from nothing. I want it to kind of feed in. I want it to stay there. Then I want it to disappear back out. So if we go back into our code, still in the advanced tab, we'll go back to our custom CSS here. I'm going to copy this. I'm going to drop down one. I'm going to say perhaps at 30%, I want it to be 0 at 30% as well. So it's going to be basically invisible to second 3 or the end of second 3 there. Then I'm going to drop down. I'm going to put one more in there and at perhaps 40%. And you can adjust these to your taste however you wish. I'm going to put the width to 100%. It's normal size, 100 and the percent sign. And I want it to remain at 100% all the way to about 80%, then it can start shrinking back down or disappearing. So I'm going to drop down once more. I'm going to pop that in there. I'm going to make that 80%. I'm going to make sure I make that 100%. As you can see, our little banner's started to animate there. It's disappearing. It's about 3 seconds later. It's going to start feeding in to the right. It's going to stay there for 3 or 4 seconds. It's going to disappear back out and repeat the process again. Now it's kind of jumpy there. That's okay. I don't mind it. It's going to get people's attention. If you wanted it slightly smoother, we could try putting linear after our infinite up here, which would make it a little bit more smooth. But that's entirely up to you. Like I say, I don't mind it jittering a little bit like that because it's going to get people's attention. There's it with the linear. Not a whole lot of difference, but it should be a little bit smoother. Great. Well, let's save our changes. Of course, once you've got it once, you can duplicate it. If we click on it, hit the 2 little squares to duplicate, we can add it or save it to our library. In fact, let's save it to our library. That's the best way to do these sort of things. Put it on any page or anywhere you like on the site. To save to the library, click on it. A little round icon there. And give it a name. Save it to the library. Let's drop down here. We'll get rid of this one, which was that earlier one I put in there. We'll add the new module from our library here. Add from library. There's our sale banner. We use this module. And that's put it in there. We just need to adjust the size of the font and the actual size of the module itself to make this work in this space. We can do that very easy by going into the module. Click on the little pencil. Takes us straight to the heading styles. I think I used 150 pixels for this particular one. Obviously adjust to taste. And of course you can adjust for tablet and mobile by clicking on the little phone icon, and you can have different variations for tablet and mobile if you need to. We just need to adjust the height from 70 to 150 here to make this fit. So let's do that. We're still in design. Going to go down to sizing. There's the 70. Let's just change that to 150. Perfect. Okay, well, let's save our changes now. We'll save the page changes. Save draft or publish if you're ready. Let's exit the Visual Builder. And there's our first banner coming in. Fantastic. It's going to stay there. Should disappear back out again. A few seconds later, it's going to roll back in and start again. Of course, like I say, you can put a link on these, take people wherever you want. There's our big one down the bottom there. Doing exactly the same thing. Just before I go, for anybody that doesn't know, I'm sure most of you know out there, to add a link to this, I should have done this earlier. Let's go back into our module. To add a link under the content, you'll find link right there. Just put in the link where you want to take anybody when they click on it right there. If you're linking to your own site, keep it in the same window. If you're linking off-site to somebody else's site, open it in a new tab. That way your site's going to stay open. And there's what I was saying about sometimes on the builder, when you're in the builder, you're going to see that overflow. We don't see that on the front end. Other thing I want to point out, as I was talking earlier and writing this code in the custom CSS, I accidentally, when I first started, put a capital S on the selector. Now in the back end here, this will work. But if you save and you've got a capital S on the selector there, it's not going to work on the front end. So if you find it not working on the front end, just make sure you put a small s on that selector there and it'll work fine. And as I was talking, like I said, I put a capital S on there accidentally. But if you have that problem, that's the way to fix it. So let's save this now. And we'll exit. And there's our little banner. I guess I could have rolled it up the top. Really easy to do, as you can see, and that is a fantastically eye-catching thing to have on your site. I mean, that's going to get noticed very quickly when that happens. And of course, it'll work perfectly on tablet and mobile. As I mentioned earlier, you may want to adjust the height of that font so it doesn't break too much. Make sure it fits on both those devices using that little mobile phone type icon I showed you just now. So there we have it, guys. There's one animated sales banner, or whatever you want to use it for. Really easy to do, really eye-catching thing to have on your site. So I hope you've enjoyed this today and found it useful. If you have, please give it a thumbs up, ring the bell, comment, share, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Lots more videos coming. And don't forget, if you have any questions, pop them down below the video. I'll do my best to answer them for you, or make a little demo video just like this one. So once again, this has been Jamie from System22 and webdesignandtechtips.com. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.